Before I even start talking about this movie, can we just take a minute to appreciate that Todd Phillips directed this? Same guy who did The Hangover. Quite the jump. Quite the jump. Anyway, Joker. Joker has been out for a few days now, almost a week, and I've seen it twice already. It is by far my favorite movie of the year. I think it's the best movie we've been treated with all year. It's fantastic. It's incredible. I loved every minute of it. I loved everything about it. And I want to do a video review of it. Why a video review? First of all, I've been wanting to do like movie reviews on here for a while. I just never did for a few reasons, but I just never did. But for Joker, I had to. I mean, I really didn't know how to put everything I wanted to say into a written review. And I just think I can, talk better and form my thoughts better when I'm, spitting them out in a video. And also, I just want to talk about the movie. If I'm, if I tried to talk this much about any movie to any of my friends in real life, they'd tell me to shut up after like 5 minutes. So at least my phone can't tell me to shut up. So there's that. So I definitely want to do a heavy discussion about the movie, meaning spoilers, but I want to do a quick little spoiler-free segment first, just in case you, for some reason, value what I say and want to know what I think of the movie without it being spoiled for you. So to you, I'll say this. Joaquin Phoenix is one of the best actors of our time. He is incredible. And when I heard he was going to play Joker, I was like, all right, we got the right guy. Hopefully the movie will be good, but yeah, we got the right guy. I've seen Joaquin Phoenix, movies before, and when I saw the movie You Were Never Really Here from 2018, that's the movie that really cemented him as like, okay, he's going to be a fantastic Joker. He plays a similar-ish kind of character in that movie. Not like that similar, but the parallels can be drawn between his character in that movie and his character in Joker. And I was like, yeah, he's going to play fantastic Joker. This movie is... I told this to one of my friends, and he told me it made sense when I told him. So hopefully it makes sense here, but this isn't a movie about the Joker. This is a movie about a guy who just so happens to go by the name Joker by the end of the movie. You're not going to watch this movie, you're not going to walk out of this movie being like, yeah, that's the Joker. I remember that from that one comic book run. This movie is very detached from the comic books, but it is still a DC movie. Sorry, I'm recovering a little bit from a sore throat. There are Easter eggs. I don't want to give away too much yet, obviously, but you're not going to walk out of the movie being like, oh, I don't know anything. It's still a DC. It's in the DC universe. Well, I guess not. I don't know what they're doing in this movie, honestly. Is it a one-off? Is it gonna? I think it's just a one-off. But yeah, the movie is a deep dive into the Joker's mind. It's a deep dive into the way he works, into what drives him to insanity, to what finally makes him snap. And you're just there for the ride. You're watching all this stuff happen to him. You're watching him go through everything he goes through in his daily life. And then he just, he has one bad day. He has a bunch of bad days, but there is of course, the final push into madness. And the movie asks you to sympathize with the Joker, but not to justify his increasingly horrible actions. The movie definitely wants you to feel for him as he goes through what he goes through and becomes more and more beaten down. you do feel for him. But by the time he does these the stuff he does becomes way worse and worse and worse. And by that point, you're supposed to feel for him, but you're not supposed to be like, yeah, you know what, that's fine, you did that, I get it, it's cool, because it's just a movie. You're not. This stuff happened in real life. The consequences would be way worse than what the movie suggests. And I guess this kind of leads into this whole argument that everyone's in an uproar about, oh, the Joker is going to cause violence and this and that. And I think the fact that we're still having this, media incites violence argument in 2019, I think is laughable and pathetic. And I don't know, I was surprised when I found out people are still arguing about that. But it's because the Joker is a relatable protagonist, and everyone's losing their minds over that. They don't know how to handle a movie about a relatable protagonist who is also a villain. I don't know, I don't want to talk too much about that because it'll just drag out the runtime of this already long video. But I will say this. If you watch a movie or play a video game and you're tempted to go do fucked up things because of it, then you're the problem, not the movie, not the video game. That's all I'm going to say. Back to Joker. I don't know what else I can say spoiler-free wise. I mean, it's a hard-hitting movie. It does not hold back one bit. It makes you sympathize with the character while at the same time being revolted at the things he does. Joaquin Phoenix absolutely knocks it out of the park. He kills it as the Joker. I really can't think of anyone else right now that would have been able to do better. I really can't. I tried to think about that both times I saw the movie. I'm like, all right, can anyone have done this particular scene? Like, Joaquin Phoenix just gives his all into every role he plays, and I love it. That's honestly all I can say without giving anything away. It's you're there for the ride as he just descends into madness. That's how it is. And with that, spoiler time. So if you've already seen the movie, or if you just don't care about spoilers, how do you not care about spoilers? Stick around. So, going into the movie, I was curious, like, I was kind of curious, like, okay, what's gonna make him snap? What's gonna be his one bad day moment? And it's really just a series of increasing tragedies that happen to him. They start out like tame enough. He gets jumped. He loses his job, not tame, but like, normal enough, stuff that happens to people. And, even at the beginning of the movie, he's still kind of the messed up dude. He's not like normal and then just becomes insane. You can tell from the opening scene of the movie, you can tell this guy's already suffering, mental illness, and he's really not all there. He has I love how they implemented his laugh in the movie, because they explained it as a disorder where he just laughs in uncontrollable situations. Even when he doesn't want to laugh, he bursts into laughter. And that's a real disorder. And I thought that was really actually cool to implement his laugh in that way. It just fit with the movie so well. I'm surprised no other interpretation of Joker ever did that, So, he's already messed up in the head. It's not like he starts off all peachy and then all of a sudden stuff happens. But as the movie goes on, more and more things happen to him. He lives with his mom, Penny Fleck, who, at first seems innocent enough. And then finally, the hard-hitting moment in the movie is when you find out that Arthur was adopted. We don't really know for sure yet. Or I don't know about yet. Are we ever going to know for sure? But supposedly he was adopted because she had an affair with Thomas Wayne, who's in the movie as well. He's actually plays a bigger role in the movie than I thought he was going to play. Thomas Wayne is in the movie. Him and Arthur's mom had an affair, gave birth to Arthur Fleck, but it's implied that he was adopted or that Thomas Wayne forged adoption papers to cover up the fact that he's Arthur's father. But either way, we find out that Arthur's mom also has severe issues of her own, delusional, psychosis, narcissistic. She's got a whole list of her own. And Arthur was abused like hell when he was a kid. And the really fucked up thing about it is that since he always laughs in uncontrollable situations, that's why his mom was always like, oh, I never saw him cry. He was always such a happy boy. Because one of the examples they give in the movie is that he was tied to a radiator, but he was just laughing. He was laughing the whole time, even though he really wanted to cry, but he was laughing the whole time. And that's why his insane mom's like, oh, he must be enjoying himself. So Arthur's world is turned upside down, in that moment. And also when he's finding all this information out, he's also trying to cry about it, but he just keeps laughing. And I thought that was really, really powerful. He wants to be sad over what he just found out, but he can't help but just keep on laughing. That was a great scene. So after that moment, I'm kind of jumping between points in the movie. I'm not really going chronologically. I'm just kind of talking about things I really liked. And then I'll touch on the end a bit because there's something about the end scene that I do want to talk about. So the first time Arthur gets any feeling of control or power is when he kills those three guys on the subway. He's given a gun is given to him by one of his coworkers, who then uses that against him to try and get him fired. Another messed up thing. But Arthur's being bullied by these three dudes on the subway. They're like rich kids who work for Thomas Wayne. They're all suits and slick back hair, so everyone cares about them. And he's getting bullied by them, beaten up, made fun of, this, that, and then out of nowhere, you just see him shoot two of them dead. And at first I was like, oh, okay, it's just, self-defense, makes sense. But then what really made it interesting was that the third guy got away. And Arthur, could have just, because he could have just stayed there and let him run away just so he can get home safe. But no, he chases this guy down and just unloads into his back until he's out of bullets and the dude's just dead. And you can tell in that moment Arthur really enjoyed what he did. It was relieving for him, and that was the first feeling of power that he ever had. And then one of the best scenes in the movie follows this, when he runs away to this bathroom stall, and he just starts dancing. Like, it starts slow dancing to this eerie music. The music in this movie is fantastic. I can make a whole nother video about the music. The music in this video is amazing, and it fits every scene very well. But Arthur's dancing in the bathroom to this music, and he just feels so composed and so one with himself for the first time in the whole movie. The way he composes himself from the very beginning towards the very end is a journey all on its own. He's way more confident at the end, and he's carrying himself much more happily than at the beginning of the movie. It's really great. Another really cool thing, his relationship with his neighbor. I don't think we ever learn her name. It's Zazie Beetz, the actress, but I don't know the character's name. But it's implied that he has this relationship with her. After he kills those three subway dudes, he's all kind of fooled himself in high off like happiness, I guess, and he just goes to her apartment and just makes out with her, like, right there. And it's implied that they, like, sleep together or something. And when I saw that, I was like, nah, that would not happen. That just seems way too out of left field. But then we find out later that this entire relationship was entirely in his head. And that was really, really, I was like, wow, okay, now I'm okay with what we saw earlier. He goes to her after he finds out about his mom. He like goes back to her apartment and is just sitting on the couch, and she walks out. He's like, whoa, what are you doing? Your name's Arthur, right? Like, I think you have the wrong apartment. She very clearly doesn't know this guy. She just knows that he's her neighbor. And so we find out through like quick cuts of flashbacks that yeah, the entire relationship was fabricated in his mind. That was another really cool moment, I thought. It's like a Sixth Sense kind of twist. It's pretty cool. And then he becomes it's after that one night that he really becomes the Joker. After that one bad day, even though it's a lot of bad days, but it's one bad day. Not until he kills his mom in the hospital though. I thought that was really that was his first like the subway guys were like his first kills, but his mom was the first one he like really set out to do. He's visiting her in the hospital and he's just kind of talking to her / himself at first. He's like, I haven't been happy 1 minute in my whole life. This after he finds out about everything, and then he says the great line from the trailer. I used to think my life was a tragedy. Now I realize it's a fucking comedy. And he just chokes her out with a pillow and kills her. And then that's when he really becomes Joker. He doesn't become the Joker in full makeup, full suit and tie and everything until really the last like 30 minutes of the movie, I want to say. And the climax is, he's invited onto the Murray show. Robert De Niro's character is playing Murray, this stand-up comedian, like talk show host, not stand-up, like a talk show host kind of guy, who is Joker's idol, or Arthur's idol. He looks up to him, he loved watching his shows, he even like imagined himself going to his show in the beginning of the movie and everything, and at one point, Murray was playing like a clip of Arthur giving his own stand-up routine and kind of like mocking him for it. Like, oh, this guy kind of sucks ass like at his job. Kind of pissed Arthur off. But then he gets a call from one of Murray's like agents or something. She's like, oh, the audience loved your little bit on the show. We'd love for you to come over and talk and everything. And he's like, oh, well, true. Like, okay, I'll do it. And so that's when he really becomes the Joker, which is like the day he's supposed to go on the show. But before he gets to do that, a couple of his ex-coworkers come over, and one of them is the guy who gave him the gun to kind of get him fired. And of course Joker kills him naturally as he scissors and just stabs him and beats him up against the wall. That's honestly probably the most like messed up kill in the whole movie. The way the media was talking about how this movie was so violent, I thought it was going to be really crazy, like wild kills, like Brightburn levels of killing. But it really wasn't. I mean, that kill right there was really the most messed up one. Like him just stabbing the dude with the scissors and beating his head against the wall and with blood everywhere. That was really the most messed up thing we saw, which is nothing we haven't seen in movies before. So again, don't want to talk about that too much. And then what follows this is probably one of the best Joker, like classic Joker moments of the whole movie. One of his coworkers is like this midget, right? And the midget's like crying in the corner. I think his name was Gary, trying to crying in the corner, like, oh, awful, why would you do this? Like crying his eyes out. And Joker's like just sitting there. He's like, you can go, man. You're fine. Just go. So he like runs the door, he can't reach the lock to unlock the door. He's like, Arthur, can you get the door, please? And he's, opens the door. Before he lets him go, he's like, you're the only one who's ever nice to me. You can go. And like kisses him on the forehead and just lets him leave. And I saw that. And I'm like, that's perfect. That's classic Joker. So then after that is, the climax of the movie when he gets to the Murray show. And he was planning on killing himself at the Murray show. You see him like rehearsing his own death on the Murray show. He imagines he's talking. He's like, oh, hi, Murray. Thanks so much for having me. You want to hear a joke? Knock, knock. And just, boom, shoots himself in the head. But you see a moment when he's being introduced on the show. He's standing behind the curtains. He's waiting for his cue to walk onto the stage. And Murray is introducing him to come on, but he's still making fun of him. Still. And you kind of close up, you see a close up of Joker, like his face, now in full makeup, full suit, everything. You see a close up of him, and he looks really pissed. And I think that's the moment he decided, okay, I'm not gonna kill myself. I'm gonna fucking kill this guy. Like I'm fed up with him. And that's exactly what he does. He gets on the show, shoots him dead, not before giving some dialogue, which I thought was a little bit too on the nose my first time. He says stuff like really, really on the nose. Like, society, this, everyone abandons me and hates me. And my first time watching it, I was like, we get it. You don't have to go like on the nose so much. But then I realized, what? At this point, Joker's already snapped, and he's been holding this. We know the message of the movie, and we know what's going on. But as the character of the actual movie, he's been holding on to these negative thoughts for the whole movie, and now he's letting them out. So I'm like, you know what? It kind of works. So I'll take it. He admits to killing the three dudes in the subway, and at one point he's like, oh, why are you so mad? If it was me lying there dying, you just walk right over me. You already do that every day. And then, when he kills Murray, he says, what do you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with a society that abandons him and treats him like trash? I think that's exactly what he says. And then he says, you get what you fucking deserve, shoots Murray in the head. All hell breaks loose. And then, at that point, he's arrested. But he's arrested, and then, boom, he gets busted out by some of these clown dudes that he's inspired with his simple act of killing those three guys in the subway wearing his clown mask from work, not because he was a Joker. That inspired, all these people, and now he has all these supporters, and this leads to what I think is the best sequence of the entire movie. It's so well done. He's busted out of the cop car. He's kind of unconscious for a bit. He's lying down on the hood of the car. Then he gets up slowly, and as he's slowly getting up, he just looks around, and all these people, it's got to be like at least 100 people, are just surrounding him, cheering him on, yelling, like they love him. And for the first time in his life, Arthur Fleck felt accepted. He looks around at these people and smile. He's like, his face is all bloody from, getting busted out of the car, and he like kind of forms the blood into a smile, which was badass as fuck. And he's like slowly dancing, surrounded by all these people, all these supporters. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. That's perfect. You also see Batman's parent, well, not Batman yet, but you also see Bruce Wayne's parents getting shot in this scene. And I have like mixed feelings about that, because the scene itself feels like such an afterthought. While the whole riots are going on, we kind of follow this one criminal, follows Thomas and Martha Wayne into an alley and just says, hey, you get what you fucking deserve, and shoots them. It was like just like that, so rushed. And like that had to be an afterthought. That had to be like a reshoot. Like the movie had to be done, and they were like, wait, let's just put this in. You know what? Let's just put it in. And like, okay. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not against it. I don't think it took anything away from the movie. But I also don't think we needed it. Unless they do plan on having this movie be part of the universe, but I don't think that's what they're doing with this. So I don't know. But anyway, best scene of the movie, easily. The Joker just coming into his own and seeing all these people he's inspired, and he's loving it, man. And then I honestly thought the movie was going to end right there. We get one more scene. He's in the Arkham Asylum. I'm going to say it's the Arkham Asylum. And he looks older in this scene. He looks a good bit older than, the beginning of the movie. And he's talking to this therapist, and he's just laughing uncontrollably. Like, oh, ha, 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 laughing. And she's like, oh, what's so funny? You want to tell me? He's like, yeah, I thought it was a joke. And he's like, you wouldn't get it. And when he says that, we cut to young Bruce Wayne standing over his parents' dead body while he says, I thought of a joke, you wouldn't get it. And people are interpreting the scene a bunch of different ways. Some of them are saying that's just him, like, he's been there the whole time, like the whole movie was in his head. He imagined all that. And I'm like, that's the dumbest cop. I don't like those, it's in your head kind of stuff. I don't agree with that. Defeats the purpose of the entire movie. Then there are some people saying it's him, like in purgatory. He died in the car crash. I'm like, that's also like, no, that doesn't work. Look how Lost tried to pull that off. I mean, come on. But there are a couple other theories. But my theory is that this scene takes place several years in the future. And at this point, Bruce Wayne has become Batman. And Batman and Joker have been going at it for a while now. And this is just one of those times that Batman apprehended Joker, right? And Joker's in the asylum right now. He's laughing and he's remembering that night that Bruce Wayne's parents died. And he thinks it's hilarious because he created Batman. He inspired the criminal to go and kill Batman's parents. And he's just laughing uncontrollably at that. He's like, wow, the irony, I fucking love it. And that's my takeaway from it. I mean, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, but that's just how I saw it. And then the movie ends. Well, not ends yet. We see him walk out of the room with like bloody footprints, so it's implied he killed the therapist. And then he gets chased by these orderlies, and then the movie ends. So this I don't know, I can keep talking on and on, but I feel like I don't know how long this has been going on for, but I feel like I've been talking for a while. And at this point, anyone in my life, any of my friends would have told me to shut up by now. But this really is my favorite movie of the year. It's what a comic book movie. I don't know if they should be, because I do like the fun, like popcorn kind of movies. But it's what we deserve in a Joker movie. It's incredible, and this is I can't praise it enough. This movie is a deep dive into the mind of a mentally ill person. And yes, you feel bad for him, but you're supposed to vilify him too. This guy, he went down the wrong path. You're not supposed to agree with anything he does. You're just supposed to feel for him, which, yeah, I mean, I do. I do. I was the whole time I'm watching the movie, I'm like, and none of this would have worked if Joaquin Phoenix couldn't have sold the performance, and he really, really did. And I just love it. Anyway, I'm probably just going to keep repeating myself if I talk and just keep sucking this movie's dick. So I'm going to end it here. I appreciate you guys watching. If you watched this far, thank you so much. That means a lot, honestly. And I might do more movie reviews. We'll see. It's something I've wanted to do for a while. So we'll see if you guys like my style here or just think I talk too much. I'll see how this one goes. So until next time, thank you for watching, and peace out.